we're going to have some fun in this Bitcoin video. It's some bullish fun. We're going to look at an explosive move for Bitcoin, what that situation looks like on this chart, and why there really are some bullish indicators lining up right now suggesting that it is 100% in play. We're going to take a look at the 2019 chart. If I'm going to compare any area on the Bitcoin cycle chart, kind of where Bitcoin might be right now, it's the summer of 2019 move. And this was a parabolic move on the midterm of around 70% to the upside. I want to show you so many similarities in terms of these charts. So please hit the subscribe, hit the like. Let's jump into the video. I realize Bitcoin might not do this. I know that. This is a bullish scenario video. So we'll look at support right now for Bitcoin, what needs to hold. This is a big week for crypto, for traditional markets, US Fed interest rate decision, quarterly earnings, domestic data. It's going to be a crazy week, right? So this could go one direction or the other, but if it's a bullish direction, check out this data, everybody. And I want to start actually right here for some context to the indicator aspect of this. And this is Kevin Svensson over on Twitter, does a lot of good Bitcoin technical analysis. And he tweeted this 5 days ago, warning the next pump may be closer than it appears. And I hadn't realized this at the time. I wasn't spotting this, but he was tweeting this. And one of the things he was pointing out was the positive momentum building on this MACD on the daily chart. And I want to start there, and then we're going to compare the 2019 move and just check out the similarities. So here's Bitcoin on the daily. Here is the MACD. Check out this MACD right now. So this, he tweeted that 5 days ago, kind of when this was just starting to turn around momentum. But look at the momentum since then. We just crossed zero on this histogram, on this MACD. And right now, even as I'm doing the video on this daily chart, you can see the MACD just about to cross the signal line, that blue line above the red line. That is, from a technical analysis perspective, that's a bullish indicator, right? Especially when you get into the daily, the weekly charts. It's not a guarantee that it's going to lead to a pump, but it's one of many good indicators in regards to the potential next move for Bitcoin. So he tweeted that 5 days ago, and I've been having some fun just tracking that momentum swing. And so here we are on the Bitcoin daily chart. Let's start comparing to 2019. I think the similarities are crazy. So first thing I just want to show you, if you just note Bitcoin kind of just in a higher high, higher low move for Bitcoin, even most recently, you can just see the higher highs, higher lows, and then we fell right between the 50-day moving average in blue and the 20-day moving average in green. Let's go to the 2019 chart. And when I say 2019 chart, we zoom out, this is what I'm looking at. This is the area that we're looking at. Exiting this bear market, we exited the last bear market in 2018, and we're kind of in the middle of this move. So right around here is what we're looking at on the daily, on the very zoomed in, the similarities of these two areas. So we go back to the daily, we look at 2019, and check it out. Higher highs and higher lows, Bitcoin making a move out of the bear market, and then it just falls between the 20-day moving average and the 50-day moving average. So we just looked at a very similar move. Bitcoin higher highs and higher lows, and falls most recently 50-day and between the 20-day. Now, if we look at Bitcoin where it is, it's right above the 20-day. We go back to that 2019 chart on the daily, and this is kind of, again, just the similarities of these moves. We're like right around here, in my opinion. It's not a perfect correlation, but it's very similar. And then if we look at this now, this is where things get really interesting to me. We look at what Bitcoin was doing on the MACD. Remember, we started this video kind of just showing this tweet of the positive momentum building for Bitcoin. Then we just looked at what it looks like right now on the current Bitcoin MACD chart. You can just see that momentum building. And then let's look at the 2019 move. What was happening? Well, in June of 2019, very similar thing happening. Bitcoin, just this momentum swing to the upside. There's the MACD line crossing the signal line. It's the very similar move that we're getting on the MACD right now. That exact daily momentum move in terms of this momentum oscillator in particular, the MACD, so similar then versus now. Now, this is the weekly chart. And before we look at the actual explosive move for Bitcoin and what it looks like, this is the weekly. And if we look at the weekly chart, check out this slower moving momentum oscillator, the RSI. This is something I spotted I thought could also be kind of a clue of what is potentially next. Notice this. in 2019, leading into, well, the exits, right, of that bear market, and just leading into that first swing high, we got overbought on this RSI. Here's this red candle. So we had a little consolidation. And then we had this last burst to the upside. That's that 70% move we were talking about. But notice the stock RSI, the slower or the quicker moving momentum oscillator, kind of in the middle here. So Bitcoin was actually making this move away, right, to the upside, to the overbought, the second move on the RSI. And the stock RSI was kind of still just bottoming out and falling. You see that? So it took a little bit for stock RSI to actually make that pop to the upside on the quicker moving momentum oscillator into overbought. Even on the weekly, we're getting kind of a similar vibe. Check this out. RSI starting to move to the upside. Stock RSI not quite there yet. Still trending down, right? So this oscillator potentially getting ready for this last pop to the upside. And that is an exact type of move we had back here in 2019. So not only are the daily momentum oscillators like the MACD looking similar to Bitcoin, and the oscillators on the quicker moving momentum oscillators looking similar on the weekly, this slower moving momentum oscillator also looking very similar. So all of these things kind of coming together on the weekly and the daily chart. And then we go back here and we can revisit where we are in the charts right now, and the setup, again, comparative to here, 2019, getting ready to potentially play out. So will it play out? I can't say for sure, but I want to show you what it might look like. And we'll just stay here on the 2019 chart. I'm going to get the bars pattern and kind of just take it from right around the 20-day moving average to a swing high. And you might just be like, that's ridiculous. It's not going to happen. You might have some fun with visualizing it if it could happen. But I think what the interesting exercise here that I would like to do as I drag it all the way over to where we are on the Bitcoin chart is the exercise is to anticipate what it could look like in the pattern and the structure that we have right now. So Bitcoin at this 20-day moving average. So it's not 2019. This could be, we could slow it down. We can just move it down. We can do whatever we want with it. But I think it's interesting to play around with this bars pattern in terms of 2019, because we do have structure right now, right? We have, at the very least on this, and this is a daily chart, we have this higher high, higher low pattern, this channel. Bitcoin broke to the downside. It didn't hit its target, remember, around $26,000. And we actually pulled back to the trend line, the lower trend line. And right now we're evaluating, is there going to be a busted pattern, meaning Bitcoin breaks back into that channel and hits the target of around $35,000. And you can just see, we take the 2019 move. It's just cool to see how that actually kind of fits in with the potential bullish scenario for Bitcoin breaking to the upside. And it really it would have to be this week. And I just want to say this right now, as we're doing this video, and what's good about the exercise to even evaluate a bullish scenario is the very fact that we can take all of this data that I'm saying could really be bullish for Bitcoin, and we could say, well, what if Bitcoin fails? And we have just great structure on the screen to be able to evaluate. Here's this lower trend line of that channel. Bitcoin can diverge from 2019 and start failing, and then we have bearish confirmation. So by even evaluating bullish momentum, a bullish parabolic move for Bitcoin, we're getting good context and we're getting really good information, I think, that prepares us for if Bitcoin doesn't go bullish and if Bitcoin actually just starts falling. And there are things happening in the world, and from a macroeconomic perspective, that could just be setting that up, right? We don't have to repeat the 2019 move. I said it was going to be a fun Bitcoin video to evaluate a 2019 move. It's not to say it's definitely going to happen, but we get areas on the charts that can say, be careful of this area. And right now that's around $30,500 to $31,000. There could be a short-term move to that area, but there could be resistance. And at the same time, maybe if we look at a 6 hour, there won't be any move. We won't even get a move to that lower trend line. Bitcoin right now, as I'm doing this video, could just start falling, right? And then it starts diverging, breaking this macro trend line that we have on the zoomed out, right? Falling back into this channel, this higher high, higher low channel that goes really all the way back to around November 2022. That could be a bearish sign for Bitcoin. So it's a bullish exercise, but it really does bring into play all of these scenarios. And I think it just becomes helpful to visualize these things And it just gives us something to watch, especially as we go into new weeks like this week. So I figured it would be a cool way to kind of evaluate all of the data that's on this Bitcoin chart, because it has been kind of indecisive. You can even see it's been kind of sideways on the 6 hour. We're in this consolidation phase. So the question is, are we breaking to the upside, playing into that bullish story of 2019, right? Or are we falling to the downside and testing support right now? Support on the short term, right around $28,600 or so. We have around $1,000 cushion for Bitcoin to consolidate if it's going to, and see what happens at this macro trend line, that support line. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below, everybody. I appreciate you. Please hit the subscribe and like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.